It's time, Fort Wayne. Your sports, your station. It's the Sports Rush with Brett Rump.
Max Landis.
Covering all the topics that hit a nerve here in the Summit City.
Clark goes 11 yards, touchdown.
Only on 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM. Now here's your host, Brett Rump.
The greatest, most interesting, most important person of all time.
You are incredible.
Older than one.
Yeah, well, you're half right.
What is this, amateur hour?
This is gonna be huge.
I believe this is going to be our finest hour.
Just when I think you've said the stupidest thing ever, you keep talking.
I think that's the worst thing I've ever heard.
That boy ain't right.
The simplest way to put it,
I have problems.
Welcome to the alleged show.
Time to take you over the hump with a Wednesday edition of the Sports Rush, your daily local sports fix, 4 to 6. I am Brett Rump along with Adam Lundy, and we've got you connected on the Parkview Sports Medicine text line at 260-447-8500. What a big show we have planned today. Coming up later in this first hour, you hear us talk about Midwest box breaks. How much do you really know about Midwest box breaks? What they are, what they do, how you can either enhance your hobby of collecting trading cards, or you can maybe get started. And, Adam, you and I might even be involved in a box break today.
Yeah, I mean, those are the rumors circulating around social media right now that Midwest Box Breaks, a.k.a. Ben, might be bringing a couple cards into the studio today because he's coming here live.
Yeah, coming here live at about 4:35, so about 30 minutes down the road. And he's Ben, the Midwest Box Breaks guy. You've probably seen him at Tin Caps games. You might have seen him at hockey games. He's the card guy is what he is.
Absolutely crushing the trading card game, all sports, all varieties, non-sports. He's crushing it at Midwest Box Breaks. Like you mentioned, he's always out at both Comets and Tin Caps games giving away.
And he just gives away cards.
Gives away cards to kids, man. And
the kids love it. They, they eat it up. I remember when I was a kid collecting baseball cards.
Still around.
And, the thrill of the hit, of getting that card, the unexpected card that shows up in one of your packs. I mean, that's what it's all about, that joy and that thrill you get when you open up a card and get a real winner. And so whatever he's bringing with him today, I do hope he brings.
Bring the juiced packs.
Bring the ones that have the extra little code on the back. Yeah, we want to make sure we get winners here. It's much better radio if we get winners. You know how it is. You know what it is on Tuesdays at about 5:15 on if I lose Tuesday Time Capsule Trivia.
No, that ruins not only your Tuesday, it ruins mine. The
show just goes downhill, yeah. Yeah, I bark at you about everything once I get beat. I'm just a bad winner or bad loser.
You're both.
Yeah, I'm kind of a bad winner, too, I suppose. Most of the losers think so. But anyway, we've got hour number 2. Dylan Sin is going to join us because we're going to talk to Dylan about Purdue and Indiana and the storyline surrounding both. Indiana back on the court tonight, taking on Penn State. That game will be broadcast on our sister station, WOWO 92.3 FM. And Purdue, with a little bit of a break this week, they will not get back to action until Friday. And that was a team that I saw on Sunday that desperately needed a break. And we'll talk to Dylan Sin about that and what the Boilermakers have to look forward to in taking on UCLA. He'll join us about 5:20 this afternoon. So I don't know about you, but it is tough to be at your A game when the weather is this bad.
It's just a little rain.
It's the worst.
It's a little rain.
It's the worst.
I like it. Makes you feel alive.
People just aren't smiling, happy, and bouncing around. They're all like, I got to find my umbrella. And
I like it, man. Chilling in an umbrella.
I don't like rain. I don't like the in-between weather. I don't like cold either.
What? Anything?
78 and sunny's fine with me. Anything else is too hot, too cold, or too much rain, too many clouds. Yeah.
Just kept it in cryostasis at a perfect 78.
Don't we all know somebody who complains about the weather? Everybody knows somebody that complains about the weather except me. And when that happens, you know who the one is that's complaining about the weather. Yeah, it's...
You've got it covered.
I've got it covered. You want somebody to gripe about the weather in Indiana? I'll give it to you.
No one else does it.
Yeah. Well, the NFL Combine, hopefully they get weather that satisfies them because we want to keep them in Indianapolis. They're back in Indy, and that means a lot of access to some of the top executives, some of the head coaches.
Yeah.
They're making their media circle. And Chris Ballard spoke to the media yesterday. And, of course, one of the big questions surrounding the Colts is the quarterback situation with Anthony Richardson. And the Colts are going to need a backup after Joe Flacco was the backup last year, and things kind of slid away from Joe Flacco. The more he was out there, the worse he got. And so the Colts are going to need to find a backup. And are they going for a guy that can be a good number two as a solid insurance policy? Or are they going for a guy that could possibly be their starter this year? Well, Chris Ballard had an interesting answer to the question about the quarterback competition in the upcoming season for the Indianapolis Colts.
We want to create real competition. I think it's good for the team. I think it's good for Anthony. When we drafted Anthony High knowing it was going to take some time. All right. And we knew there's going to be some hiccups along the way. And it's I know we all want a finished product right now. I do. You do. Fans do. We all do. But I think as he continues to progress in his young career, us adding competition, I think will help up everybody's game.
I call BS on some of that. You did not take him knowing it would be a project and a long-term build. I mean, because from day one, he was anointed as the Colts starter, and it was just a matter of getting him prepped and learn the the playbook, so that he could get out there for his rookie season. I don't think the Colts drafted him expecting him to be a Jordan Love situation or even an Aaron Rodgers situation if you go back to when they had Brett Favre. The Colts didn't have anybody. They drafted a quarterback to come in and be their starter and be the face of their franchise. So to go back in hindsight and say, well, we knew this was going to be a project. Come on, Chris, we're not that gullible. You drafted him number 4 in the draft because you thought he was going to be the guy that you wanted to run your offense and would give you the best chance at immediate success. But it hasn't turned out that way. What they didn't expect to get was to waste a number 4 pick on a guy that completes 44% of his passes. And so now they're having to face the hard truth. And I think some of that hard truth might have been exposed by Jim Irsay. Maybe he gave them a bit of a wake-up call and say, look, you can't fall in love with your guy because you took him number 4. You got to face the reality. And the reality is this guy's not shown that he can be an NFL number 1 quarterback. Now, if you can improve him to the point that he becomes that, great. I would support him playing. But you've got to consider, what if he doesn't? What if he doesn't get better when he comes to fall camp this year? What if he's still a guy that has accuracy issues, fundamental issues, maybe even work ethic issues? Who's going to be the guy that's going to lead this football team that we can all rally behind and is going to be better than Joe Flacco, who looked like Matt Ryan did the previous season? And so Chris Ballard clearly indicating that they're bringing a guy in that they think is capable of being a starter. Now the question is, what are they going to have to pay him, and who is that quarterback going to be? Any guesses, Adam? I know at this point it's just a guess. I know because I've looked and I've tried to figure it out myself, and I'll just be honest. There's so many names that are being thrown about as to potential quarterback. I think one article I read had 9 different quarterbacks that are potentially the guy heading to Indianapolis. And so I'm not even going to try to figure Chris Ballard out in this.
Right.
I don't know if he wants somebody that's like Anthony Richardson that would play a similar offense. I don't know if he wants somebody that, has his own identity. Maybe he's more of a pocket passer. And maybe he's not a runner, but he's got a proven background and he's had a winning history. I have no idea. And I also don't know what they're willing to pay. So that also is a variable I'm not sure. Without those answers, very hard for me to just pinpoint 1 or 2 guys on this list of 9 or 10.
Yeah, it's also hard to narrow it down because Ballard and the Colts haven't specified whether they plan to add this quarterback via free agency or the draft. I mean, there's still, a couple late draft options down there. We'll see about that, but free agency versus draft also, they haven't clarified on that.
Well, that's a lot of risk. I think they've got to go free agency.
Yeah, some of these lists have draft picks in it.
I just don't see how they take the chance at another draft pick. I don't know. I mean, if you take another draft pick, that might mean that you're keeping a third quarterback and you are going to have a project, and it could be a three-way competition. But I think they've got to bring somebody in who is a proven veteran. Somebody, whether you call it holding Anthony Richardson's hand or showing him the ropes while competing with him, because that's the difficult position this quarterback's going to be, is if you bring in a veteran, is that he's going to want to win over the job, but also in some ways the Colts may expect him to be the leader in the quarterback room and to show the other guys how it's done, how you get to where they're at. But I have no idea. I mean, I've heard Daniel Jones has been a name that I've heard mentioned.
Yeah, I mean, I have a list here.
Justin Fields, give me your list, because most of those names are probably the ones that I was seeing in articles that I was looking up.
Yeah, like you said, Justin Fields is on the list, coming over from the Steelers.
I can do my own button today. See, I got my own.
Oh, man, you're messing with me now.
I know. You keep seeing me, and I can sit over here and hit the button and cough. I can sit here and drink something. You don't even have to worry about me.
I'm used to having to hit your
used
button.
to thinking, oh, no, Brett's going to, pop one of those lozenges, and you're going to hear this chewing in the background. And so you're always cutting my mic off. But today, I do it myself. See? Just pop, 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 pop.
Great radio there.
I can just do my, yeah, I can blame you, but I could do it myself. But no, it's kind of fun because we've moved the microphones around, and now I actually have a cough button.
Oh, I'm happy for you.
Forgot to hit the button. Sorry.
Can I read my stupid quarterback?
Okay, go ahead and read your list. Yeah, read the list.
Gosh.
I'll stop hitting my button.
Justin Fields.
Like a kid.
Daniel Jones from, formerly Giants.
Well, those
fame.
are the two prominent ones.
Sam Darnold. But here's the thing with Darnold. I think he's going to want to be a starter guaranteed, and it's a lot of money.
Yeah, and I think he may have other options.
Agreed. Matthew Stafford is on the list.
Yeah, it's interesting because Stafford you'd have to trade for.
You would have to trade for. They've also kind of said that they're only letting Stafford explore his trade options to kind of get the market value on him before, extending them themselves. So that's on the list. Russell Wilson, the other Steelers quarterback, is on the list if you want to go to the older side.
No, I think we've gotten now to where 3 teams have tried him.
Yeah.
I mean, Seattle realized that from what they were seeing with him a couple of seasons ago, they realized that it wasn't going to continue with Russell Wilson, so they moved him off to Denver.
Uh-huh.
And then Denver couldn't get rid of him fast enough, and he ends up in Pittsburgh. I don't think you want somebody with that much baggage.
I agree. Keeping looking at the list, Jameis Winston, the gunslinger.
I heard that one, but I'm not real high on it. I think he's a great character guy and a lot of fun to be around as a teammate, but no.
All right, now the other 2 on this list, like I said, do come from the draft. We're looking at Will Howard from Ohio State. You're not buying that?
I mean, what you think Will Howard's going to come in and compete with Anthony Richardson to be the starter, and the Colts are going to have basically a rookie and an unproven young player?
No, I don't like that either. I do think this is going to be more of a veteran kind of hand-holding situation for Anthony Richardson, which I'm not thrilled about. I don't think it's great that you have to have your quarterback having another season of having to have his hand held.
What about Kirk Cousins?
That's an interesting one, too. He's not on this list, but I've seen his name being tossed around.
Yeah, I saw him on a list.
I don't know.
But do you have another rookie draft pick? Because you indicated there might be.
Oh, yeah, the other one was Jalen Milroe.
No.
No?
No.
All right. I'm going to tell you who you can contact about this list during the commercial break.
Are they a guest on this show?
You might know them.
Okay. I'm not excited about Milroe.
Yeah, no, I think
with Milroe, all you're doing is trying to find somebody who might have similar skills to Anthony Richardson. But the problem is you may end up with another Anthony Richardson.
Yeah, it's and I don't think, like I said, I just don't think it's going to be that sort of competition. I think it's going to be more of a veteran type thing.
Got to take
just going to give you one more real quick. Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy G.
Jimmy G. He looks like a California guy. I just don't think he would be. He doesn't have a Midwest type vibe.
Steel yards of Lucas Oil and all that.
Yeah, I don't think the vibe is right for Indy.
No. All right.
All right, so coming up, we're going to talk about some of the local success in NAIA basketball. It's tournament time for the NAIA. So St. Francis, Indiana Tech, both into their tournaments, and we've got some games to tell you about. They're going to be local. And so if you want to get out and see some basketball, we'll tell you who's playing where in their respective tournaments. Also, Indiana, Penn State comes up tonight. Some of the things to keep in mind. And the Mastodons with doing the math. Where will the Dons end up seated? We'll do some of that math for you coming up. Also, Ben Smith from Midwest Box Breaks. He's going to be in studio with us. It's a packed hour to start things off on a Wednesday. Let's go check headlines right now. What's happening in the world of sports? It is Adam Lundy.
All right, thanks, Brett. Well,
is this the button?
You just want to mess with me now, my man. Well, going back to the Indianapolis Colts, Indianapolis ranked 19th of 32 teams in the NFL in the annual player survey, a survey of the NFLPA that has been released publicly for the past 3 years. The team's grade for strength coaches rose from a C to an A-. The addition of a daycare helped the Colts raise their grade in treatment of families from a D to a B-, ranking 16th in the league overall. Indianapolis still struggles in two specific areas. The Colts received a grade of C in food, ranking 25th of 32 teams, rating the food only a 6.7 out of 10. Indianapolis is relatively pleased with their nutritionist, grading out a B+. The other area in which Indianapolis struggles still is team travel. The Colts received a grade of D+, ranking 27th, largely because they feel they don't have enough personal space on flights. A couple more quick stories for you today. Caitlin Clark's impact is being felt not only by the Indiana Fever and the WNBA, but by those who collect trading cards. Recently, a Prism Caitlin Clark gold vinyl NFT card, so a virtual card, sold for $51,000. The sale marked a new record for any WNBA NFT card. And congratulations to Purdue-Fort Wayne men's basketball student-athletes Jalen Jackson and Rasheed Bello, who were both named to the Horizon League's 2025 All-Academic Team. The league announced today both standout players on the court also boast a GPA of over 3.5, so congratulations.
Wow, isn't it great when your best players are also your best students?
Absolutely.
Awesome. Great job by Jalen and by Sheed. Had Sheed on the coaches show last night.
Yep, he was great.
Always great. We'll take a timeout. We come back. We will talk about NAIA basketball. That is on the other side of this timeout, right here on the Sports Rush on 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM. It is tournament time in the NAIA, and so that means St. Francis and Indiana Tech playing in their conference tournaments. Unfortunately, St. Francis men's basketball already lost last night to Huntington University. The Foresters. Our intern Ross goes to school there at Huntington. Coach Alford.
Yeah, I'm sure he's happy.
They ended up winning last night 95-83 over the St. Francis Cougars. So the USF men see their season come to an end with a 17-12 mark. 10-8 was their final Crossroads League record. Unfortunately, they lost the last 3 of the season, including that tourney game last night. But everybody else still in action. You've got St. Francis women. They are tearing it up. 25-3. 15-3 was their final conference record. They are number 3 in the country, and they are taking on Bethel tonight.
Whoa! Opening
round of the Crossroads League. They will tip it at 7 o'clock at the Hutzel Center, and so that will be a good one.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It's actually a Crossroads League quarterfinal match. And then Indiana Tech, men, with their 21-6 record and winners of 10 of the last 11. They finished 18-2. They are the number 1 seed in the WAC.
You just like saying that.
WAC.
WAC.
They will take on the 8-9 seed coming up tomorrow night. I don't know who won the 8-9 seed on the men's side. I know the women's side, it was Cleary that won.
I'll see what I can find for you.
But Indiana Tech will take on whoever won between the 8 and 9 seed in the WAC on Thursday night at 7 o'clock. And you've got Indiana Tech women's basketball in action tonight. They will be playing Cleary. And they're 24-4, 19-1, and winners of 16 straight. So you had Purdue-Fort Wayne women's basketball win 17 straight. That streak was broken a little over a week ago by Cleveland State. Now you've got Indiana Tech under Coach Jesse Biggs, winners of 16 straight, and they'll try to make it 17 and match the Mastodons' win streak from this season. Coming up tonight at the Schaefer Center, starting at 6 o'clock. So, I mean, we've got great basketball. Mastodons men will be at home tomorrow night. Division I basketball against Northern Kentucky, and a win by the Mastodons, and they're guaranteed a first-round bye in the tournament.
All right.
It's going to come down. I mean, if they get that win, it's going to come down to win or lose against Cleveland State to be either the 2nd seed or the 5th seed.
Woo.
That's high stakes. It's not like you could go for 2nd, maybe end up being 3rd if a lot of other things fall into place. It's pretty much because of the odd number of games everybody's played.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty much win and you get number 2, lose and you're number 5. But that's if they take care of business against Northern Kentucky. And they've got the Norse coming to the Coliseum for the final home game of the regular season tomorrow night at 7 o'clock.
That'll be huge. I can tell you that number 8 Aquinas defeated number 9 Cleary 74-66 in the opening round of the WHAC men's tournament. So it'll be Indiana Tech taking on Aquinas tomorrow night, 7 o'clock.
There you go. That's an update on the NAIA. And, of course, also Indiana hosting Penn State tonight.
Yep.
Big game in the Big Ten. Here's the concern for the Hoosiers. You got a Penn State team with guys that are experienced like Ace Baldwin, Zach Hicks, Nick Kern. Penn State is desperate. And sometimes the most desperate team is the one that wins. And right now you've got a desperate team in Penn State because of the new tournament format for the Big Ten, where only the top 15 out of 18 teams actually make the tournament. And right now Penn State's on the outside looking in. And for them to get that game, they can't lose games like this to Indiana. Penn State's going to look at this game and think it's a winnable game for them. And Indiana looks at it and thinks, oh, this should be a winnable game for us. We're at home. We're playing a team that's at the bottom of the league standings or next to the bottom. And so both teams feel like this is their opportunity. So you're going to have a Penn State team that plays with desperation. Can Indiana match that kind of intensity and energy tonight at Simon Scott Assembly Hall? That's going to be the battle. Ace Baldwin, Zach Hicks, Nick Kern, the leaders for Penn State. Not strong around the basket, although their leading scorer, Yannick Conan Niederhauser, he's their leading scorer. But I mean, he's not a guy that has impressed me tremendously. I think Indiana will match up well against him inside. The question is, can they stop Ace Baldwin? He's one of those guys that can really get going up and down the court. Nick Kern, he's an attack guy, but can also hit the three. And we saw Zach Hicks hit some threes. Now, he hasn't shot it great as a percentage overall for the season, but we saw him hit some threes against the Mastodons. So tough one tonight, I think, for the Hoosiers, only because you're taking on a team that's desperate to get victories. So I think Penn State will fight it to the finish. And we'll see what happens between Indiana and Penn State tonight. That game's going to be broadcast on our sister station, WOWO 92.3 FM. All right, we've got to take a break because you know who's coming up.
Oh, yeah.
We got Ben. Midwest Box Breaks, Ben. You hear him on the radio talking about Midwest Box Breaks. I still have people that stop me and say, what exactly do they do? Well, I've done my best to explain it, but I'm going to let him explain it.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea.
He should explain it better than I explain it, right?
I think he will.
And then I'm going to ask him, how do we do radio? And just see what his answer is. No, I'm kidding. But we're going to have him tell us exactly because what it really is, it's a way to get involved in the hobby of card collecting.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
Now, there's many ways and resources to go about that, but that at its core, it's just a resource for you to be able to start getting back to that favorite childhood hobby of card collecting. And we'll have him talk about how that's done. And we might even get to go through a break ourselves.
Yeah.
Maybe we can get that Caitlin Clark card.
That one was virtual, so we won't be able to get that one.
Oh, that's virtual.
Yeah, it was an NFT, bro.
I want one of those $51,000 cards. All right, we'll take a timeout, and we'll talk some trading cards when we come back. It's a Sports Rush Wednesday edition on 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM. Welcome back to the Sports Rush, your daily local sports fix, 4 to 6. I am Brett Rump along with Adam Lundy. Coming up in hour number 2, Dylan Sin is going to join us to talk about the Boilermakers and the Hoosiers and both of the storylines surrounding those programs. For Purdue, what do they have to do to turn around this 4-game losing streak? And for Indiana, how do they take what they did in the second half against the Boilermakers and continue that momentum through the rest of the regular season campaign, where Indiana's now put themselves in the discussion at the bubble of the NCAA tournament? But Dylan Sin joining us coming up at about 5:20 this afternoon. And, you know, one of our sponsors of our show and somebody that I've gotten to be friends with here over the last couple of years, and it's been a real joy to learn about his business and to see just his passion for what he does. And I know some of you have probably seen stories about the trading card industry and some of the people that are involved in the hobby of trading baseball cards. Some of it not always positive, and we had somebody text us about it. But the guy sitting next to me here in the studio right now is one of the real gems of the business. It's ethics above all else, and I can tell you that you will be treated like royalty. You will be respected. It'll be an honest transaction if you do anything with Ben. But Ben Smith joins us from Midwest Box Breaks. Ben, welcome to the studio.
Thank you, guys. I'm excited to be here. Dylan's going to have a tough act to follow here in a little bit.
Yeah, he's got to follow the big Ben who's joining us. But, Ben, I know I get the question still because of the unique name. Now, within the hobby and those that have been active with the cards and how they're actually distributed now, because we used to go get gum, okay, when I was a kid. And it's a little different today. So explain to me exactly the name Midwest Box Breaks.
Well, Midwest was just something I picked being here in the Fort Wayne area, and it seemed to fit, and also the domain name was available, which at the time was a big deal. But essentially what I do is I buy cases or boxes of sports cards. It could be baseball, football, hockey, basketball, NASCAR, wrestling, you name it. And we find a way to distribute the teams or the players or however we want to do it. And the customer buys a team, a specific team. We also do what we call a random team break, where we assign one of them with a verified randomizer program. And basically, whatever team you've got, I open up the cards. Everything's transparent on multiple cameras. I keep everything on the table on camera. And whatever I pull for you gets shipped to you, whether it's a card that is valued at a dime, or we had one that sold at auction for $64,000 once.
It's a little game of bingo, but the thing that's fun is if you, if you go into one of these breaks, and you're going to be having a break, let's say, and I'm just throwing out a random time at 8 o'clock tonight, and you're going to post online that you can bid on a team, and you'll pay a certain price, and you'll have basically that team. And when those cards are opened up live on a stream, because you do everything on video stream, when those cards are opened up, as you go through and sort them, every card that is a player from that particular team then goes to the person who bid on that team. So if I would go in and say, I want to buy the Reds for $35 or whatever it might be, then as you open those cards, I'm going to be locked in saying how many Reds players, what Reds players am I going to get out of this package?
Sure, and that's a good point too. Also, if you cannot watch it live because of work, or your wife gives you a honeydew list and things like that, everything, all the videos are archived, and you can watch them weeks later, months later, the next morning, whatever, and you can go back through and replay it and see what you pulled, and every card is shipped to you. The only exception would be a lot of times I get guys that they only want maybe the more high-end cards, so the cheaper stuff, we called them commons back in the days.
Yeah.
So now they call them base, or they still say commons, but they might say, hey, donate those to the kids. So we give them away at
And those are the ones that end up at Comic Games, Tin Caps games. And, and your community's been so tremendously generous. How many cards have you given away?
I think in the last 2 years between Tin Caps, Comets, we just did PFW, the basketball game. I think it's about $500,000. And
oh, my gosh.
Yeah,
oh, my gosh.
it's 500,000 cards, and those are cards given away, by our card community, our online community at MidwestBoxBreaks.net, and we love it. And you'll see a lot of people that do what I do, but it's more flashier and more of a younger crowd, and it's a little bit of a different demographic where they're really chasing that excitement and that big rush and that big hit. This is more kind of a bunch of guys hanging out in a break room opening cards.
Yeah.
And collectors from the 80s, 90s, whatever, and people that want to pass that on to kids and the excitement kids get.
It's almost like having a game of poker at your house and inviting over your buddies to hang around, play some poker, but the great thing about it is always so fun because it's such a supportive group when you're on there and you see a card that does pop up. What do you call those unique cards? Is that a hit? Is that a home run? Is it a double? What do you call that?
I think traditionally in the industry we call it a hit. Somebody might pull it a pull. It just depends on the group and it's almost like a regional thing. I've heard banger. I've heard hit.
They get excited about it. That's the thing, though, is everybody shares in the excitement, even if they're not the one that's currently getting that card. And it's fun to see how everybody is thrilled for the people who do get those kind of cards because they pop up every once in a while.
And I think, too, for our group, it's a deeper connection, too, where if you and I interact a couple times a week online in our chat room, in our community and stuff, and I know, hey, you've had a rough day, whether it's job-related or your team just lost the national championship or whatever, and you hit a big card, the community is actually excited for you because they know and this was true. This was a big deal during the pandemic too, as people were kind of processing and dealing no sports and everything else going on. It was a great way for us to connect and escape a little bit too.
And in some ways, this is Ben Smith has taken over here in Fort Wayne and kind of started that home poker game, to use that reference, where a few friends showed up and you did a little stream and you were kind of the chairman of the board, so to speak, master of ceremonies. It's much bigger now. You've got people when I popped on a couple of times, you've got guys that are like national sports writers. You've got, there's celebrities. There's people that join in and tune into this, and you've become more than just a little Midwest Box Break stream. You're now actually almost a full channel. You've got so many different partners you're currently working with.
Yeah, and it's similar to anybody else that's in the sports industry too, where you love what you do and you truly have a passion for it. And I've been fortunate to meet some great people. Our community members like Phil Hughes from the Yankees. We just picked up John Schreiber, Royals pitcher. I talked to like Ethan Roberts from the Cubs, Justin Steele, A.J. Dillon from the Packers, and the list goes on, and they come in. Mark Feinsand, MLB insider. Mark was on with his son and talked during our stream. We had him on camera like a podcast style.
Oh, wow.
And he was on for an hour and a half and just talked about cards and baseball, and we were grilling him at the time the Soto news hadn't broken yet, so we were grilling him about that. And again, I'm so fortunate and blessed, and I like to carry that on to other people and get them to enjoy it too. So.
And let's talk about where you're accessible, because I know you have a social media presence, very heavy there, but the stream itself and when you're actually doing the breaks, where's everything take place?
Okay, so the first place you want to go is MidwestBoxBreaks.net. And breaks is spelled BREAKS, like taking a break. MidwestBoxBreaks.net. You can go in there. You can see our schedule, see who's up next. Like you mentioned, we've got a streamer that he's actually a contracted wrestling referee that does a lot of wrestling breaks. And the goal is to try to have something 7 days a week. And we haven't had a day off since September 14th.
Oh, so I know.
You can go there. There's chat. You can actually apply to be a seller. We've got almost 800 sellers. You can sell your cards, and there's all kinds of ways you can enjoy it. And we've even got a guy that all he does is open stuff from the 80s, and people just hang out, and he talks about what he remembers about the players and things like that. And there's really something for everybody.
All right, so you brought some cards.
Okay.
Okay, now what we need to do, how can Adam and I enjoy this and know that I'm getting the best of Adam, or maybe he's getting the best of me? I know there's not a randomizer for the single box, but what can we do?
Okay, so this is Top Series 1. This is what we call the flagship product. It just released about 2 weeks ago. and this is kind of the kickoff of the new baseball season. So what I'll do is I'll give you the American League, and I'll give Adam the National League.
Okay. All right. That sounds fair.
All right.
And you may have to help me and tell me when I've hit a banger. I want a banger out of this pack. But
now this is
Topps.
Top Series 1. This is traditionally a retail product, so there's not a guaranteed auto. In some of the bigger boxes, it will say that it's guaranteed one auto or one relic, which is just a patch card. But you can hit some. We've hit some really nice stuff out of these. But you can get this. So
you don't know the secret code on that box to be able to tell us.
The rumor around the industry is some of the bigger guys get loaded boxes, but we have not proven that yet.
Yeah, it's okay. I just wanted to make sure.
So this is pretty much how it would go down.
Okay, so I'm getting American League, and Adam's getting National League.
Right, and this is about the simplest way to break it down is by league.
Now, you opened up a box, and how many packs? These are the actual foil packs. How many are in there?
So there's 7 packs, 12 cards, so 84 total cards.
Okay, and this is the same way it would be on the string.
Right, the boxes would be bigger, and in most cases, all 30 teams, there would be an owner.
Okay.
But we've done division breaks. We've actually broken it down by player, and you could bid on a specific player. So, again, the important thing is keep everything on camera, because there are shady people out there that they pull them off camera, and then something happens.
Yeah, and all of a sudden, the card that was under the one they were showing you, it disappears. Yeah. And but the thing is there, I always know, because I just deal with you, and I know the people that you deal with, and just how much trust there is involved, and how people just rave about the service and business they get from you. And I know that's something you take great pride in, that you try to bring kind of the ethics back to the hobby, because there have been some shady characters in this field.
Now here's an O'Neill Cruz, and this is numbered 1196 out of 2025. So
okay, did I just retire? Can I retire now?
Well, I think who had
that's National League.
That's National League.
Gosh, okay, Adam, you're going to be back to work tomorrow?
Now, in this case, so I will use, and some people from the 80s might remember this stuff too, the sleeves and the top loaders to protect that. And we'll ship them out like that. We'll protect all the cards. We'll ship them in a box or a bubble mailer, and we ship everywhere. I even ship to Canada. I've shipped to Puerto Rico, Hawaii. So we'll ship about anywhere. So that's for Adam. Now here's a Dylan Cruz. That's a good one.
Hey, Dylan Cruz,
Dylan Cruz.
Was he number 1 or number 2? He was number 2 pick, wasn't he, behind Skeens?
Was he 2? I'm not sure.
Somebody will text us. Parkview Sports Medicine text lines 260-447-8500. I know that they were both at LSU, right?
Yes. There's a Harper. This is a style similar to 1990 Topps.
Harper is a Bryce Harper?
Yep, so they just brought that style back. Corbin Carroll, I actually met Corbin Carroll.
Bryce Harper's still in the National League, right?
Yep, at a Topps conference.
Are you killing it or what?
Yeah, he's doing pretty well so far.
Yeah. We've got piles of these cards, and so far I don't have the second pile, which are the ones that Ben is pulling out.
Here's a Mike Trout. People still love Mike Trout. Obviously, he's had some injury issues and things like that.
Yeah, that's another. American League. I get the American League. Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Jacob Wilson's a good one.
Yeah, not bad. And now you're just scanning through these, and you recognize them right off the top.
Yeah, now like for this, I've probably opened about 15 cases of this, probably 30,000 cards. So
you've probably seen most of these cards already. These aren't anything
in my sleep. There's another Harper. There's another Harper.
Now that one's got the stars and everything. What's the difference between the two cards? Because one's just a basic card and one's got fancy stars.
Yeah, it's just another insert or parallel. And the thing too is, if you're not sure what's in a product or who's in a product, there's a published checklist. And usually it's as simple as a Google search, 2025 Topps Series 1 checklist. And you can see everybody that's in it, who signed autographs in it, production numbers, all that stuff.
And that helps to decide too which breaks you want to bid on if you're looking for certain cards.
So, because like I'm a Yankee fan, sorry, but if I'm specifically looking for Don Mattingly, and sometimes they have veterans and stuff in there too, I want to check and see if he's even in the product. And it's not always the case. So here's Ohtani, Dodgers.
Oh, Adam just pulled another one.
Yep. So man. And as you were saying too, the difference between our community too is we're not into all of the craziness you've seen. And I'm sure people are watching this now. They're like, oh, I've heard nothing but bad things about these breaker guys.
Yeah.
We raise a ton of money for charity. We give cards to kids, like I said, hundreds of thousands of cards. We're actively involved in local and national charities, Big Brothers Big Sisters, Wounded Warriors, things like that. And there's a Skeens, so.
Yeah, it's National League.
Yeah.
Who picked that Adam got National League?
James Wood, there's another one. Yeah.
James Wood could have been a tin cap.
Yeah. So he crushed you pretty bad.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he's got a nice big stack there. So real quick, go through Adam's list there of who he got.
All right, so he got a James Wood rookie. He got a Paul Skeens, Otani, Corbin Carroll, Bryce Harper, Dylan Cruz, and a numbered O'Neal Cruz.
So the numbered part.
So it could be any
that make
scarcity.
it more exclusive?
Yeah, so this is numbered to 2025. The lowest you can get is a 1 of 1, meaning it's the only card like that in existence. And we've pulled quite a few of them.
Really?
Yeah.
Did they have those in this series? The tops?
You can hit one, but it's a little rare.
Okay.
But I've hit.
Okay, now I do want to say you just went through and gave Adam his nice lengthy list of players that have the special cards. What do I have in my stack?
Okay, so you've got
Mike Trout. There you go. That's it for my list. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, so you've
Ben,
got a couple.
Thanks for coming in.
Mike Trout. Yeah, I guess I'll never be back. So if you want, I can show you some football. I don't know if we're.
Oh, you got a little football. We got a couple of minutes. Yep, a couple of minutes. So let's see what we got. So now football. Do you do this year round?
Yeah, baseball. We're a baseball heavy group, but we're active in football, basketball. I mentioned Brandon, who does our wrestling breaks for us out of Missouri, and WNBA. Today I ripped. There was a new X-Men product that came out. And Star Wars is big in our group, too.
Wow.
So on this, Brett, I'll let you pick. Do you want the AFC or you want the NFC?
I'll lose either way. I'll take the AFC.
All right, AFC. Here we go.
Now, am I going to get a Mahomes card or a Kelsey? Now
on the Topps does not have the license for the active players yet.
Oh, okay.
It's coming. It's about a year away. So
I'll still take AFC.
So they've got the rights to several of the newest rookies and then the veterans. But you can still hit some really nice stuff.
So could I hit Peyton Manning out of this group?
You could, yes.
Okay, because I want AFC.
All right. So here we go.
All right,
here we go. There's Larry Johnson, and that's the sepia version, just based on the photography, how they changed the color. Marvin Harrison Jr.
Hey, there we go.
That's NFC, though.
What?
That's Cardinals, NFC, yep.
I didn't think it was current players.
Well, they have the rights to a few of the rookies.
Oh, okay. Okay. So he's Marvin Harrison. My first thought was the Colts Marvin Harrison. No, we've got Marvin Harrison Jr.
There's Joe Alt, but not a lot of people are after linemen. Tony Mandrich, White Stevenson, Walter Payton, and this is a refractor. You can see it's got a little bit of a different shine to it.
Oh, yeah.
And it'll actually say refractor at the corner.
So that's Adam as well. Man.
Tony Baselli, there's a different version of refractor. Drake May, AFC.
Okay. I got the rookie out of New England.
That's a good one, Drake May.
Well, I don't know if he's still considered is that a rookie card then?
Yeah, so it's got the rookie card logo on it, too. Montana, that's my favorite player. I'll go to the NFC.
Yeah, that's great card, but Adam ends up with it.
Bo Jackson? Yeah, Adam and I set this up beforehand.
I do believe I've been set up. I really do. I feel like somebody's taking advantage of me today.
Here's a Chris Johnson numbered to 275. That's AFC.
Oh, wow.
That's the purple variation.
Running back from the Titans? If I'm not mistaken.
Bo Nix.
Okay.
That's a good one, too. That's called a youth quake. That's what they called that. So.
Now, that's another rookie card.
Yes.
Now, is there a premium? What's the premium on rookie cards?
That's usually especially if you collect a specific player, that's usually where you go first. You want to try to get the rookies. Autograph cards are huge too, but it's like for me, Mattingly, I've got tons of Mattingly rookies. Darren Sproles, Bruce Matthews, and Dylan Lobb. I'm going to give this to the AFC. I mean, we've got
Yeah, okay. I made a nice comeback there.
We've got Bo Nix. We've got a numbered Chris Johnson, a Bo Jackson, a Drake May. And as much as I love Montana, there's not a lot of, it's been a while since Montana played. So And then the Harrison is nice too, so we'll take care of that. But I'm going to give it to you on the AFC.
All right. Well, that was fun. That's Ben Smith, Midwest Box Breaks, and this is the kind of thing that he does online. And now, do you have a set schedule now, or how do you determine who's on what times? Because, I mean, sometimes you're running like 6 hours straight. Sometimes it's just a couple of hours in the evening. What's the schedule?
We're pretty active from, I'll say, now, like Monday, we let a couple of our community members go on and sell their own personal cards so they can stream from home onto our channel, and I'll boost it onto all our social media, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. So that's the whole purpose of our platform. You may only have 100 Twitter followers, but you can go on our platform and we'll boost it to all our channels, including our YouTube.
So they definitely want to follow you.
Sure.
And you're kind of guide everything into that network.
Yeah, so it gets a lot more active maybe from Wednesday on. A lot of our new release products hit the street date on Wednesday. But really, like I said before, the goal is 7 days a week. Obviously, we're more active in the evenings. I've personally tried to go on during the day more, and it just depends on, what the vibe is. There was a snow day last week where I had 70 people in the chat, and it's pretty cool. So when you talk about release dates, where are we at with baseball now? With spring training getting started, has everything pretty much been released for this year? Is it still coming? What do we need to look forward to? No, so we had the Series 1 release 2 weeks ago, and then I think there's another product drop in a few weeks. And then every couple weeks, there'll be something new. Oh. And part of it depends on Topps production schedule, too. And, it's all the logistics of their shipping, their printing process, stuff like that. We had some, and this will irk a lot of collectors or people that do what I do. They had a backlog, and every week there was a new product right around Christmas time, and people were like, what are we supposed to do? I'm sure some guys slept on the couch because they bought in they spent their Christmas budget on their cards, right? Yeah. Well, baseball, what's hot right now? Is it Paul Skeens? Skeens is a big one. I personally am stockpiling Jackson Merrill. I love him. Plus, he played here locally. Skeens is a big one. I mentioned Wood and Cruz. Would have been big boost, though, for Merrill to get that Rookie of the Year. Yes. Would have been a big difference. Yeah. Ben, once again, what's the website, and give us how to find you on social media, where you're at. Okay, so the site is MidwestBoxBreaks.net, and you can actually click my profile and message me there. On Twitter, it's just at MidwestBoxBreak. There's no S because of the character limit. Instagram is kind of weird. It's MidwestBoxBreaks_Ben, because when I started, just Midwest Box Breaks was taken. I don't know why. The guy doesn't use it. I've tried to buy it. And then Facebook is at Midwest Box Breaks, and a Google search is an easy way too. So all right, so there you go, and now you know a little bit more about what is happening behind Midwest Box Breaks and some of these cards. And I'll tell you what, Ben, the cards that you just opened for me, those are donated. Okay. You take them and you give them away to some kids, whether it's the hockey game or a Tin Caps game. I don't care. I'm passing those on. You were nice enough to bring those in. I'm not taking those home. I'm letting the kids enjoy them. So we'll let those be giveaways. I'm waiting to see what Adam says. Yeah, now. I'm still waiting for Adam. Adam got the deep stack. So it's like Adam's like, no, I got like 9 cards out of there. I really like. No, but anyway, we appreciate you coming in. And this, by the way, we did video this, so it'll be available on 1380 The Fan on Facebook. And you can look for it there, and I think Ben may try to give it a share or somehow get a link to that, so you could probably find it through him as well. But if you want to see the cards that we were actually just breaking, then you'll be able to do that. Ben, appreciate you so much, and it's always been a lot of fun learning more about what you do. Thank you, guys. That is Ben Smith, Midwest Box Breaks, joining us. Hour number 2 comes up on the other side. It's a Sports Rush on 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM.